Oh, well, in the words of Jim Carrey, suck me sideways, dude. Welcome everybody. Esteban, dude, thank you so much for the sub, brother. Thank you. Welcome to the stream, brother. It's Friday, it's 7:30 p.m. Central. You're at Vladis Gaming. We're here to talk Ashes of Creation. Chill out. It's going to be a very chill conversational conversation about upcoming things. We actually had some news drop very minutes ago. This is literally breaking news. So let's turn off the lo-fi and let's talk about it. So if you were to be on Discord right now, Roshan put up on the NDA Alpha 2 PTR news that they plan to have a PTR testing done this weekend, which I was like, well, of course, because before they were going to be testing Firebrand and the Scorpion world boss in the desert. But then they just announced that on Saturday, October 18th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Central Time to 8 p.m. Central, they're going to be giving us a very early version of things from our 0.17 update. Now, I am Vale, dude. Thank you so much for the Prime, brother. Thank you. And I've gone on record to say this. I was very much in the camp that static node rarity and that whole thing probably wasn't going to even be fixed until probably Q1 of next year. Well, I was wrong, because then we go into the NDA Alpha 2 PTR chat and Roshan asked, or I think it was Kyle that asked, is it like, what's in this 0.17? Is it going to be like fishing or maybe Harbingers, like an early look at the Harbingers? And Roshan said Harbingers and fishing is for an update later than 0.17. So I honestly, me personally, I thought the 0.17 update was the Harbingers update, but it looks like that end up might being the 0.18 update. So it says stuff in the 0.17 looks very focused on gathering, and it says in brackets changes to static rarity, processing, and crafting, and then in brackets again it says fixing stuff that's broken. We'll have more info by the time we unlock tomorrow. Man, that really makes me happy. Like without a doubt makes me happy. Wagsy, dude, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Well, we'll see if you're wrong. It might still not be fixed. I mean, very true. Very true. But it looks like from, when Steven came up and said, hey, like we pulled a whole other team to help the econ team. They're very focused on all the stuff that's going on right now. And it's been basically a couple of weeks of very saddening updates, as you can probably watch from my videos. And, even before my videos, we were getting like 2 lines of fixes that occurred. I'm not saying that those fixes weren't important, right? But I think most people were expecting like notes that we were kind of getting in P2, right? Like we were getting like pretty, I wouldn't say substantial, but like every week we were getting like big things, or like sweeping changes at least, right? And it just feels so micro compared to what we, had been getting. Well, at least they're addressing it. No, absolutely. They are addressing it. And because of how doomer, the community has been, and, there's people that aren't bothered by it or whatever. There's been posts that are, like, why are prices still skyrocketing when the game is dead and, it costs like 40 silver for legendary oak? Like, what's going on? Well, I can tell you, again, like when I don't want to go down that tangent because I already told you guys, like, I really think the crate system and the caravan system should not award gold just for you traveling a distance. So that's been my hot take for, regarding that, because Intrepid's never, ever going to balance that. And even if it was something like in good intention, right? Like, oh, well, I can make one trip and earn like a gold 30 silver, and I can do 2 trips within my play session. And then, hey, I feel like I accomplished something. And then you exacerbate that to people that live in this game, or to the RMT botters that are playing 24/7 and then selling that gold to other players. That's what's creating this complete hyperinflation. And so it's not just a single thing there's certain root causes and then many symptoms, right? And so it's going to be really up to Intrepid of what are you going to do? Are you going to fix the root cause, or are you just going to try to treat the symptoms? Let me see a 40-second patch note on micro video. Yeah, right. Let me see any updates on the content creator program. I mean, they just keep saying, it'll be next year, this year, end of this year, so I kind of just stopped, whenever it's ready, it's ready. Like I kind of don't have a particular like wait that I had been waiting for personally. I don't really think the content creator program is going to do anything in the interim. I think that program, it'd be nice to know who's in it, right? But then at the end of the day, like the program is meant for like once we actually get into like betas and then start to launch the game, right? I don't think it's going to do us really any good, even by the end of the year, but I could be wrong. I mean, who knows, right? Using the /follow. Yeah, /follow is another, I personally think that's a symptom, right? I think crates is a good thing to do, but there's like 6 different versions of crates, and most of the time people just run the economic one to earn gold. And that's why I think gold should just be off the table completely. I don't think it should be there at all. We could probably make an argument for caravans. I would just remove it, because this game being 24/7, if you want to have people running caravan runs, or the RMTers or whatever the botters, prime time will be anywhere between like midnight to 6 p.m. Or 6 a.m. Right, to like run however many caravan runs they can do. Anything during the day, if they get killed or whatever, it is what it is. But Intrepid needs to do their job on the back end to create those tools to identify those accounts and flag those accounts. And again, I've always been on record to say this, if you, Intrepid, need me to, buy gold from these websites and then report the players that come and trade me that gold, I very much will. Like, I won't use the gold, but I'll just use it as the mechanism to lure, the account over here to trade me the gold and be like, okay, well, that's the account that sells gold. Like, I think they need someone doing that internally, personally. Or maybe gold could be strictly from a castle siege. No, what I think gold should come from is, of course, like your grind spots, right? I think those can actually be pretty lucrative. But also from one-time quests. I think one-time quests are severely undervalued currently. I think, when quests have gotten improved, and I say that very loosely, but quests to me, in this game are so severely underwhelming just based off of like what certain quests have long chains to them. And then like the last part of the chain awards you like a piece of gear you probably won't even use, 24,000 experience, which by the time you're even on a chain that long, you're past level 10. And that's like hardly anything. Like you're already trying to earn hundreds of thousands of experience. Like, so all this time that you wasted doing this one quest, you could have been at a POI grinding that whole time and earned more. Like literally earned more within 10 minutes of pulling. You know what I mean? So I think they need to look at their quest design, they look at their reward structure and put some gold, because again, I'm not saying that you should hyperinflate people earlier on, but by giving people gold sooner, they're going to want to spend it, right? As soon as it comes in, they're going to want to spend it. And if they have things to spend, crafters are crafting stuff, and they have the incentives of crafters crafting at least one of everything on their crafting table. I think it'll be very lucrative for early players and buying gear from crafters with the gold they've been earning from quests or from grinding or from commissions. But I think commissions, I kind of would want like maybe a cap. So like maybe there's only certain commissions you can do at a node that those only award gold, and those go on a cooldown. So the other ones, they don't really reward you as much glint or whatever, but only tax caravan should be gold. So, and again, we can have this kind of argument, right, as to like what we can probably do. Let me see, augments for me is what I'm waiting for in Tolnar, and maybe gold can be strictly from Castle Siege, since the town would have gold. I agree with Quest if Steven wants to have Caravan Gold still be valuable. Well, the thing is I just don't think that Intrepid will ever be able to balance gold incoming or the gold faucet from crates and from caravans from people that are playing the game, you know, in a certain bracket of time comparatively to the people that are going to play this game like a job, and also the RMTers, right? So the people that are playing this game like a job that are retired, right? You know, maybe they're retired military and they can literally be on all day if they wanted to. Of course, like we always had this conversation even before, right? Is like the more time you put into the game, the more you should get out of it. I completely agree. But I feel like with how hyperinflating the crate and caravan system is, I would rather personally you do a bunch of quests that Intrepid can be like, we're okay with you earning this much gold from all of these one-time quests because you won't be able to do it again. Like because again, they're one-time only quests. You know, these aren't repeatable. But anything in Ashes that is repeatable with no cap, no limit, that also earns gold is a super slippery slope. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's a super slippery slope. And I don't think that they'll ever find a balance in that when it comes to like how much gold should we give players. The delta is going to be it's going to be way too wide. So I just say, don't put yourself in that position, Intrepid. Just remove it. Have gold come from other sources, other things that you on the back end, or not even on the back end, but just you as developers can actually monitor it better, right? Like through one-time only quests, through story arc events, through world events, right? Like if you want to reward a whole bunch of players being into an event, you know, cool. Like I'm down for that. But events is something that they themselves can be like, okay, this event provides a certain lucrative amount of glint. So maybe if we put this particular event on like a 2-day cooldown, that should be okay. You know, for people wanting to get it or whatever. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like Intrepid has to monitor and really keep track of the things that reward gold, because again, hyperinflating the economy and making stuff like be the way it is through two means. It's through the crate and caravan system with gold, and it's just through RMT. It's through the botters. Those are, I think, the two most symptomatic things, the root causes of it all. But you know, so right now, like I'm really excited. I'm looking at right now at the 0.17 update. I was kind of shocked that we were actually going to get that so soon, to be honest. But I had a feeling, I'm like, so I thought the 0.17 update was going to be the Harbingers update. And I thought, in my mind, the rationale in me was like, okay, so they're probably only doing the 2-line fixes to quote unquote pad the patch notes for the 17 or 0.17. So like, let's say 2 weeks ago, they had changes to like, you know, the tank, they had changes to the economy, they had changes to this, but they're like, well, if we give that to the players now, that's going to leave our 0.17 patch looking light. So if we just do some fixes instead and keep these on hold till we release the patch, it's going to make our 0.17 patch look bigger than what it could have been, right? Because if we're going to be in there for maybe 5 more weeks, well, if we gave them all those changes every week like we had been, our 0.17 is going to look like another kind of very minor patch. So let's just put all that on hold. That's kind of like where my mindset was at personally. And maybe that is what they're doing. Like, I don't know, but all I'm saying is that I think it feels bad. And I've heard a lot of people say this from like my guild, people in the Discord, that it sort of feels like we're in a point, like in a phase 2.5, right? Where it feels like almost, like we're forgotten kind of thing. Like, you know, it's in a very, like the game is in a bad state, right? Or you can say the test is in a very bad state, and Intrepid just kind of leaving us on red. That's kind of like what players feel like right now. And that's how people kind of felt in 2.5. I kind of stopped playing myself in 2.5, and honestly, I've kind of given myself a little bit of a break currently, because the things that I am very passionate about are not fixed. They're not, like, I don't see the point in me testing. Let me see, to play devil's advocate, what if they only have gold right now because they reward faction reps, but factions aren't in yet? I don't really think it's like faction reps per se. I mean, we still need like the happiness system. There's still like a lot of node systems that are still not online at all. But I think, again, like, most people can come to the realization that the two biggest gold faucets right now for players is to go to g2g.com and buy gold, and the other one is just to run crates. Like, that's literally what people are doing. And I told people, please, for love of God, do not buy gold on G2G. Like, don't. Please, God, don't. It'll get your account banned eventually. Like, even if you're not going to be banned tomorrow or today, Intrepid will probably find your account. They will, and they will ban it. Like, so if you paid $100, there's no reason to put your account in jeopardy to literally buy gold in a test, dude. Like, come on, dude. What are we talking about? Like, I think it's borderline pathetic for a gamer or tester that is currently testing ashes to buy gold on a website. Like, that's just ridiculous. To stay competitive for who? For what? Like, if they announce a fresh start or a wipe, what was this gold for? What was this reputation you were earning, or this kind of clout you were chasing from a test? Like, I truly don't get that mentality. They have an entire stock market system promised. Why even waste time with economic balance right now? Well, that's going to come later. I honestly don't even think, and Steven kind of confirmed this a while back, I think you can even go to the Ashes wiki to confirm it as well, that the stock market won't even be out at the live launch of Ashes. That's going to be either a patch, it could even be maybe an expansion later, but that's definitely not going to be at the launch of Ashes for sure. I entirely agree. I'm taking a semi break myself, just testing occasionally, but I am intrigued by the BTR tomorrow. Yeah, me too. And this is what I tell people, right? Like, there's sort of this weird, and again, I talked about this last week as well, this weird tribalism that you're like, if you're not testing right now, like, you're not good enough to play Ashes. Like, it's like somehow playing a PTR is a litmus paper test for how hardcore of a gamer you are. Like, I don't understand, like, people's mentality when it comes to this personally. I think it's, I wasn't going to say that word. I was about to say it. I think it's stupid. I think it's so stupid. Like, you have every right to take a break. If you're not digging what's currently being offered, take a break. Just step away. I think, again, the reasoning why people are getting so bent out of shape is because it's those people that are forcing themselves to play a broken game, which the game is broken. You know, it's an alpha. We all know there's broken things in alpha tests. And they're choosing to play or test the brokenness. And it's like, okay, you got out, you know, of this system, all the broken pieces. You know what's broken. You know how to fix it. So all you have to do is wait for it to be fixed. And maybe it won't be fixed the way you envisioned it, but then you can test that revision and see if you like it. Let me see. What are you? Some kind of loose that plays games for fun? I know someone, like, you know, for me as a gamer, I don't like to play games that feel like a job. I actually like to play games that are actually fun, you know? And again, Ashes to me in phase 2 was a shit ton of fun, man. Like, I was digging, as someone who never ever gave a shit about gathering or crafting or any professions. I played WoW for a long ass time, but to be fair to WoW had a shit profession system for freaking over a decade. Ashes turned me on to professions. Like, truly, like, I really dig the professions in Ashes, and I dig the whole loop. It's just there's certain parts of the loop that I think are a little bit broken or a little bit over bloated with certain menial things that don't need to be there. Certain things don't need to be as high. And I think it's not like a fundamental vision issue with the professions. I just think it's just a bunch of numerical adjustments that need to be done. Once those numerical adjustments are done, I'm going to enjoy the shit out of the system personally. Like I truly am. I don't think anything is going to be fixed in Alpha 3. I probably think you mean Phase 3. They want to rush the contents out and the content so they can then focus on fixing things. I mean, we'll see, man. I mean, look, I've seen them churn out patch notes week on week. That is insane. I know what these employees, these devs are actually capable of. So I wasn't like this whole couple of weeks ago when we weren't basically 2-line fixes every Tuesday, or every Wednesday. I had to scratch my head and wonder, like, what's going on internally? Like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Let me see. I hope this patch brings back the PvP that's missing. Hit back aspect instead of L. Sorry. I think I misread that. Now the updates are more optimized and my ass is coming out. Hit back aspect. Well, honestly, when it comes to the whole PvP thing, I am myself, I'm not a heavy PvPer in Ashes, but I do agree that the PvP is broken. Like once I start my 1v1s back up, I want to bring, if he was willing to come back, I would love to talk to Zyback. I would love to talk to maybe Lloyd, and bring them on. Flanker, I already talked to him. I want to have him back on the 1v1, and talk PvP, man. Like this game needs more of the PvX dynamic and we need to fight to get that back. Like 100%. Let me see. The game needs to be more rewarding than it is. Drops are far too low. PvP has little to no reward. People do not do things without rewards. The only thing that people are doing is gathering because it's the most money. No, absolutely. Like and welcome to the stream, by the way. I do agree. I think the game needs to be more rewarding, but I think the philosophy that Steven wants is he wants common gear, like T1, like tier 1 common gear, to be the thing that's dropping. But right now, I think gear across the board, even tier 1, is not dropping at all. So you feel like you're grinding, these POIs or just experience. And especially and again, I personally don't like being at a POI for hours on hours, grinding the same 5 or 7 mobs, like repeatedly. My eyes start to bleed. I just, it's so mind-numbingly boring, like after a while. Like I wish there was just more incentive to like move around the map. You know what I mean? To go around the dungeon and do stuff. But I'm also coming from a place where in World of Warcraft where, in dungeons you had to like go through, there was like a start and an end. But since it's the open world, you can just be wherever, right? So I guess maybe it's just something I'm not used to. But as a PvE player, I wish there was just more reasons to go around Remnants of Civilian, to go around like Highwayman Hills. And I've been saying this, like I would love if there were actual like treasure boxes like that. You don't need a treasure map. You don't need an extraction kit, right? You just were exploring the game and there's a treasure box for you. You know what I mean? Like I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with something like that. I think it keeps exploration fun. It keeps it engaging. I think again, one-time quests need to be more rewarding, and the reward structure across the board for Ashes is not on point at all. So I definitely agree with your statement. Let me see. You should make a list of everything you don't like and play a bingo to see if they fix it. Ooh. Okay. I'm game. Let me see. Where is my notepad? God, I had my old script. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so number one, I think forever. Jesus Christ. So static node rarity has to be fixed completely. I think what the hell? I think that has to be numero uno, done, finito, gone, which also means that gathering rarity needs to come from artisan gear, tools, and pylons, maybe. Yeah, so basically rarity needs to be predicated off of what your tools and artisan gear is, right? So that to me is like numero uno, what needs to happen. Let me see, currently everyone has been playing on Linux is getting banned. Can we add people still complain as a free space? People still complain. Sure. People still complete. Complain. I'll actually make a proper bingo card. Like I just want to write it all down first. Let me see. I love playing a lot of Darkfall. Love those chaos quests that would spawn. Well, and that's the cool thing that I think would be really interesting in these like world events. Like imagine if you had, so forgive me, right? I'm going to say a WoW thing real quickly. But imagine if in Ashes, you know those treasure boxes, there were these world quests in WoW where you had to do like a kind of puzzle. Like you had to like get all the lines connected, or you had to like, you know, almost play like a Bejeweled kind of game or whatever. Imagine if you were in a PVX world event that had like treasure boxes that you had to complete a puzzle, but also people could kill you. You know what I mean? And inside those, if you complete the puzzle fast enough, you get the rewards inside. But there's also people literally killing people. I believe it actually, those world quests that I'm referring to actually started in Legion, where you had to like connect the dots and the ley lines, I think it was, or whatever. But I think of things like that because I'm like, imagine how frustrating and like on the edge you have to be like, oh my God, I found a treasure box. But like, you're also like, you know, when is someone going to attack me kind of thing, right? Like, I think that would be like very interesting in a game like Ashes. And I think when it comes to the PVX design, I don't see the need yet as to why a PvPer needs to participate in some of the PvE things and why a PvEer would need to participate in the PvP things. Because that's what I think really truly creates the PVX system is the pool, right? It's not saying, yes, the incentivization, like it's not saying that you have to, like as a PvEer, always do the PvP things, but it's like as a PvEer, you're enticed to do the PvP things because it gives you the thing you want as a PvEer. And as a PvPer, you kind of want to do the PvE things because it gives you the things that you're incentivized as a PvPer. Like those are the things I hope Intrepid is having conversations with internally, is having the right mindset of structured rewards for both sides. Because if you can truly nail the rewards for both sides, oh my God, you're going to see a whole different Ashes of Creation. Like, not even joking. This game would change overnight. Let me see, is the corruption system still being tuned up high? Because I also imagine red players ganking would also have an effect on the economy, especially with gathering. So right now, yes, in the Alpha 2 currently, gathering, if you kill a player that's green, you are corrupted, and if you die, you could potentially lose anywhere between 1 to 3 pieces. That's how it's currently tuned right now. That's not saying that how it's going to be currently tuned in the future. And Steven has said, I've said it, that it's purposefully overtuned right now for the sake of testing. So that way players aren't, can just go about their day doing stuff testing wise and not really be messed with too much if you want to stay, non-combatant. Like the rewards for the events or the treasure chests already. But yeah, like you don't really do much with it. So it's basically like when the event's over, there's a treasure chest that just spawns and, you get the rewards and you leave. But I'm talking like when the event is actually active, there's like little gatherables, right? So like I think of the Harbingers event. I think how cool would it be to have like, certain treasure, like imagine if there's certain treasure box that needs certain keys and scattered throughout the event are like red keys, diamond keys, black or corrupted keys. And it's like, oh, I found a corrupted key and you saw a treasure box, but the treasure box requires a red key and you have a corrupted key. So you can't open the treasure box. You're like, fuck, So, and then what's crazy is if you add in the PvP dynamic, if you die, you drop the key and now it's like, oh, I killed a player and I got the red key. I can open that chest. Like that's the stuff that I'm talking about, right? Like things like that. You want to kill this player because that player may have a key that you don't have. And there's a box right there. And maybe that player has the key, so that's the kind of like cat and mouse game that I'm really like hoping for Ashes of Creation. And, I'm not even a developer, man. Like I think of things that I think would be really fun and cool. And I just say them because I'm hoping Planin is watching my stream and he's like, oh shit, that's a really great idea. Let me pass it on to the team. That's all I'm hoping for, right? It's just somebody to hear a really good idea. And it's not saying I don't have a lot of good ideas often, but I mean, I do have some sometimes, let me see, this right here, gear, weapons, tools should all have a breaking point. 100 over 100 for basic gear can be repaired 100 times before it breaks and can't be repaired anymore. Green 150 to 150, and it gets better the higher the tier. If not, people won't need to buy gear or weapons and the market will stall and die. Also mounts should have a lifespan and die. I'm actually in the camp of mounts having a lifespan personally. I know most players would probably disagree because they're coming from, a game like World of Warcraft, or they're coming from, places that they never had to worry about that, right? But Ashes is a different kind of game. Oh my God, I feel like I'm getting strep throat or something. I don't know what the hell's going on in my throat. You see, I remember Steven's interview with Summit and Shroud where he mentioned interdependencies between PvP and PvE and crafting, which feeds each other, which makes everyone have a role in the world. Yeah, I remember him saying that too. I mean, Steven said a lot of things in the interview stint of 2020. Let me tell you, the whole Lazy Peon video broke out and emerged, and Steven went to talk to Asmon, he went to talk to the Tatman, he went to talk to Shroud, he went to talk to Summit 1G. I mean, he talked to everybody. And I just feel like we currently are failing to see certain things happen. And after a year of being in the alpha, like I can understand we still have so much more to go. Like I get that. But all I can do is hope and, pray that we just have to keep going. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have lost hope. I have not in the slightest. Have I been frustrated? Absolutely. But what tester hasn't? I think you have every right to be frustrated, but I also feel like there's just a lot of like needless frustration just being chaotically leashed out at Steven and the developers and everything like that. I'd love to see Pockets art on the podcast. Yeah, I mean, Pockets is a fellow suspect guilty. Like, I am definitely going to have him on. I'm just trying to get things on my end in a better spot. And, it's just been hard. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's been very challenging being a stay-at-home dad and prioritizing life, family, and stuff like that. Like, and of course, prioritizing that over a hobby, you know, should be the thing, right? But you have to understand from my point of view, like before I met my wife, you know, I was single. I was single for over 10 years. Before my wife came into my life. And I was very much a World of Warcraft junkie. I ate, slept, and breathed WoW for 17 years. And it was very Blight, dude, what's going on, brother? You haven't lost faith either? I'm glad to hear it. Let me see if they stick with this all starting CLX, dude, thank you so much for the follow. And Envy Alec, dude, thank you so much for the follow as well. 15 minutes ago, I'm sorry, I missed that. Let me see if they stick with this. All the starting area nodes near the portal will inevitably level up first, no matter what, undermining the original vision of open world exploration. Absolutely, absolutely. This is why, like, I was very, like, I kind of struggled with the fact of all of these starting zones are going to be levels 1 through 30, and then every other zone, like the desert, the tropics, the June Dark, the Redwood area, the Badlands, all those are going to be 30 plus, 30 to 50 basically. And I didn't like that, because I always thought whenever the game was, you know, going to come out, that the philosophy was, well, you can start in the starting areas, but if your guild wants to, at level 3 or at level 5, hop to the June Dark and start leveling a node in the June Dark, because that's where you're, like, that's where your guild and your, you know, your people want to, like, lay down their flag. Why can't they? And so I understand that there's also, like, a hate for scaling, but I would actually be okay with scaling for this particular reason. Because you have to understand it from a developer's point of view. It's insanely hard to make a biome that literally, like, so when you look at like World of Warcraft or any zone in any MMO, they call them end game zones for a reason. And the fact that there's going to be what, 20 or 19, 20 biomes in Ashes, and every single one of them could be a potential starting and ending zone. Like, that is a monumental amount of work for a developer to endure. It's crazy. Why don't you like static node rarity? The same reason why I think everybody, 99.9% of the other Ashes people don't like it. Is it because it creates a huge incentive to just camp certain spawns and wait for them to come back, and then it creates this very gross feeling that my experience as a gatherer means nothing because I just have to get lucky to find the right node. So why would I ever prioritize rarity as a stat when I just need to be lucky? Like, it's stupid. Like, static rarity is just terrible. Like, the overall design is just really bad. I like that because PvP fights. I think PvP fights will still happen without static node rarity, because if Weeping Willow and, you know, what's the other, like Braidwood or, you know, even Huntables that you see, you don't care what rarity they are, like, you just need the node. So you're going to, like, if there's someone else that's going to get it, like, you're going to fight them for it. So I don't think there needs to be PvP for a basalt or for a granite, you know, or for a tendonite, like, you know, or for a daffodil or a snow. Like, I think the PvP should end up for the higher echelon, you know, gatherables, like your tier 2, your tier 3, tier 4. But tier 1, like, maybe earlier on, right? Like, if you have like a bunch of basalt around you and there's another person there, you want to kill them, go for it. But I think, you know, ultimately there's gonna be bigger fish to fry. I'm always hopeful, but the rest of the test But if the test was in a marketable state, the content creators would be doing it for you free. The reality is that we need to see a drop off in creators covering. Well, the reality is that the current content creators and even the content creators that aren't like Tim the Tatman, Shroud, no one's talking about Ashes. Like if you were to zoom out, right, from, you know, the mini content creators like myself, and go to like even the semi like bigger ones like Burns, like the Cobian Clinic, and go zoom out even further to like Nice, which Nice has been in the community for a while now. But then you zoom out even further, like you get further removed from that. Really, no one's talking about Ashes because there's no reason to. Like, yes, it's playable, but the vast majority of the bigger creators want to play a completed MMO. Many of them have no, like, you know, S-Fan, I believe, actually tested Ashes, I think in phase 2, if I'm not mistaken. And his impressions of the game were actually very fair, you know, at the time. But I don't think there's any reason to currently highlight Ashes, even when the Harbingers update comes out, because I feel like when the Harbingers update releases, the Harbingers world event is probably not going to work. I mean, again, how many times have we got a patch note? Like people meme in the Ashes Discord, you know, when Margaret posted that static node rarity has been removed, because how many times have they made a patch note of something that said that that was fixed, and then we go in the game and realize it's not fixed? So I think with Harbingers being such a big event, to market it and say, oh guys, sorry, it's broken, or, you know what I mean? Like you want to put eyes on a system that probably won't even work correctly for what? Like, MSC, it's a good thing people don't want to talk about Ashes. Last thing you want is to be Star Citizen constantly talked about by people who have never logged into it, just spreading hate. No, absolutely. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, I think, you know, marketing this game should be happening the same way it's being marketed currently by Intrepid. Put out your YouTube videos, your monthly YouTube videos, post on Twitter, post on Facebook, post on Instagram, like you have been doing for years. And that is your marketing currently. People look like people. I've asked P3 people that bought into P3, how did you find out about Ashes? I had 2 people to be like, oh, through Facebook. Oh, one person was like, oh, I literally just came across an old video of like someone talking about Ashes, like one of the big creators. And I just said, oh, let me go see how the game's doing. Like, where is it at currently? And just was like, curious about it. And that's how they found out. They're like, oh shit, I can actually buy into it for $100. I was like, oh shit. Okay. You know, so it's like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? I think if they want to market the price of Destiny needs to be around $50. No way people are going to pay 100. So, I mean, I've heard Phantom talk about that, where, you know, that could be the reasoning why they want to push out in Harbingers is to basically have a lower price point. And I don't have a problem with that personally. I have not seen a Facebook one since I saw the Kickstarter back in 2018. I follow them on Facebook. They still post on Facebook regularly. Like I only have Facebook for like my friends and family and stuff like that, but like they still post. Ashes still posts on Facebook. So I don't, what I really truly don't want them to do, and what really kind of scares me, is that Steven, you know, messages like Lazy Peon and says, hey, could you make another Ashes video for us and talk about like the Harbingers update and stuff? And I feel like if Lazy Peon wants to do that, like he will. Like I don't, that's what I mean. Like I don't understand who they're going to attract, because the people that are already here and are already attracted are already here. Again, people have known about this game for over 5 years, like the vast majority of players. The Lazy Peon video from 2020 has over 4 million views. I've asked every MMO player that does not play Ashes, but they all have heard of it. Why do I still need to try to convince that person to come over and test Ashes? There's no reason to. Like, there's just, for what, for them to maybe get turned off completely by the project because it's in a test. There's a lot of systems that are broken. There's a lot of things that they're going to experience that probably won't be the way it's going to be later. I don't understand the unnecessary push towards that. I don't. In other MMO spaces, this project is already a meme. They can't afford to market at the inoperable marketable product first. The fact that they aren't even talking about it is not good in my opinion. Well, Wagsy, all we can do is hope and pray that, you know, Steven and the team change their mind, because that's kind of like what I'm hoping for personally. I think if they reduce the cost to 50 with the ads, it will increase the player count, and if they need money, it might be unavoidable. That's what I think this is really all about. It's not really about marketing the game, it's about making money. Oh my god. Sorry, my voice is like really hard to talk. Let me see, if they push for it and the content isn't working, it's going to do more harm than good. Oh my god, is that Space? What up, brother? Good to see you. If you're not aware, Space Coconut actually does Ash's content. A lot of his stuff I agree with. There's some things I don't agree with that he says, but overall, I really enjoy his content. I've seen every video. So shout out to Space Coconut. So they need more people to test. That's why they are going to market it and maybe reduce the cost. Yeah, probably. I think it's really just a money thing. How much money has Ashes already burned? 8 years in development is crazy. They probably burned through several tens of millions of dollars at this point. I'm not going to say over 100 million, but I would definitely say for sure over probably 50 to 75 million. Like easy. The same shit is said about Star Citizen. Those people will pay when it's out. Imagine if older MMOs had paid alphas and they saw the same time to develop. I mean, the thing is that I feel like by testing Ashes the way we have been, I'm glad that we're coming across a lot of these exploits, a lot of these issues. And I know a lot of the people in the current community of Ashes like rails the devs over like certain exploit things, like why are you letting these things continue? Yada, 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 yada. And here I am sitting in my chair thinking like, well, don't we want them discovered? Don't we want them fixed? Like, this is why I don't really put much stock into the alpha, because the only purpose of this alpha is to stress test systems, break and exploit things, find where they are, fix them before the actual live launch of the game. That's it. That's literally it. Like, I honestly don't know. So I think that people are getting frustrated just because they're trying to play Ashes like a game. And if you're trying to do that, by God, you're going to frustrate yourself to no end. And anything that another guild does, you are going to be so pissed off because there are exploits in the game. There are things that are broken. You can't, that's why it's really, for people that have a true competitive nature, this alpha could be such a black pill to swallow, like almost. They said as soon as they finish the past cosmetics sold, that they'll likely start seeing more sold. Yeah, well, we'll see. Steven is indirectly saying Ashes needs money without actually saying it through the marketing push. Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm kind of reading between the lines as well. It's a money pot technique or a honey pot technique. Let me see, great content, Space Coconut, always watching. I don't know. I mean, let me continue making this bingo card. So what else do I want to see from these changes? Well, I want processing fees lowered for, actually, I just want them lowered across the board. That's T1, T2, T3. And vendor reagents costs That's the other thing I want. I think right now to process novice stuff is, people say, oh, it's okay. It's not the way it used to be in P2. But I think for how much materials that we need it lowered like 100%. Like it's really ridiculous, like how much money it is. And then when you jump to tier 2 materials, oh buddy, you better be RMTing, because if you're not, sorry, my voice is it's going out. Let me see. Hard to blame someone playing. Oh, sorry, I think I missed it. Where was it? Hard to blame someone for playing it like a game when they are being charged 40% more than a release game to test it. I understand that sentiment, but oh well, we're in a freaking ad and the person I'm probably talking to does not hear me. So let me just wait 25 seconds. I want to answer their question, but I want the ads to finish first. 15 seconds. All I'm saying is that when it comes to the high entry cost, I understand why people are trying to play this at the game, but you can't. You literally can't. It's in your worst interest too. It's not, you won't be in the right state of mind. The game is not in the right state to be played as a game. The game is very much chameleonized or Frankenstein together to imitate like an MMO. It is an MMO. It almost plays like an MMO, but it's not a complete MMO. And it's definitely not the complete MMO experience. So I feel like the cost, I paid $375 for my package. I don't feel like I have to play Ashes like a game because I paid $375 for it. The people that I know that have paid $500 for their package, they're not playing Ashes like a game either. You know what I mean? Like, I think, again, it's about having the right state of mind to test a game like this. And I think for the people that have been in the community for a long time, have a better mindset than the people that just came in, that paid $100, $120, for a key. I think that's kind of like where we're at with that. I want to be able to gather while leveling and be able to process it when I get back to town. Yeah, no, 100%. And I think you should. I 100% believe you should. T1 should be the most accessible processing thing to get. I don't even mind if they actually lower the experience gain to compensate for how much more affordable it is to process. But I really don't want them to touch that, because I actually love the whole loop of you being just a gatherer or just being a profession person and leveling that way if you so choose. But I think right now it's breaking the bank. Like, if you're even in T1 for myself, when I was processing like daffodils and snowdrops and everything like that, or flax, I was constantly being broke. I was down to like 3 silver, 4 silver every fucking time. I would get up to like 50 silver, a gold something, and then, I got to process like 60 or 80 things. Now I'm back to being broke. Like, and that's how I lived my life. Like, it was just this constant cycle of having enough to then be completely broke. And it's just not a good feeling. Like, it's not a good feeling at all. Right now, no, but I do think most post advertisement there would be definitely for people who buy it with the expectations that don't match the ads. I still feel like the deal I got is fine since all of the bonuses I get on release. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just about having the right state of mind. That's truly it. When is the subclasses coming out? Probably Q1. I think Steven mentioned that it would be the tank and cleric secondary augment classes first. So we'll see like what happens there. I only paid $100 and got my money 20 times over. Very avid customer personally, thousands of hours. Yeah. I mean, and again, it's like Blight. I know you have the right state of mind, but I think there's just a lot of testers that are almost blaming Intrepid for their poor decision-making. And it's like, no one forced you to do anything, bro. Like, no one forced you to go and buy it. No one forced you to keep on playing it. Like, And again, like one of my people, that's a longtime streamer or a longtime viewer of the show, he messaged me on Discord and said like, hey, I tested for about 150 hours and I'm pretty much done until they do some pretty drastic changes to the game. He's like, but I still have faith. And I said, oh yeah, dude, good job. Like, thank you for testing. Thank you. And I asked him, did you leave feedback? Because it's like the amount of people that I talk to that say they tested and did all these things and found all these things wrong with the game don't even go to like leave the feedback anywhere. They don't go to the forums. They don't go on Reddit. They don't even go on the Discord hashtags, like where it's like what does it say for the Discord? Alpha 2 feedback. They don't even go there. And it's like, bro, you put in all this work, all these hours, leave your feedback. There's no reason not to. Let me see. I leveled I leveled this phase 1 to 25 strictly gathering and processing. I enjoyed it more than mob grinding. Man, dude, you must have been earning some gold then. Because it's like once I got a T2, I could process maybe like 1 or 2 things, and I'm like, okay, I can't, like, because everything was just so much, it was just so much gold, like, so it's like I couldn't. And again, if you had to go and do crates to basically supply your processing, that's how people were doing it. Like, oh, I have to go do crate runs to earn my gold to then use it to process. And I don't know, just that loop just doesn't feel good. Like I think the reward structure for gold is just all over the place, personally. How long did it take to level 25? Oh, I'm pretty sure it took them a while. And again, I think people that choose to level just by using professions expect it to not be the most optimal way, but they want it to be a way to level, right? Like they're not there to keep up with the Joneses of like the people that are like hardcore micro grinding the same spot for hours and hours with the most accurate precision known to man. Like these people, and this probably includes myself, want to go out, explore the world, gather, go back to their node, process, craft some pieces here and there, see if their guild is anything, go back out and do it again. Like I love doing that. Like it seems so Ashes, I think in a lot of ways has to probably be one of the most boring games to watch, but for some reason it's so satisfying. And I believe it's going to get much more satisfying once we actually get rarity predicated off of your stats, like your artisan stats. Like once you know, having a better tool in your hands, having an artisan shirt on your chest, or some pants on, and you start feeling the rarity push, you start feeling like I'm actually gathering more. That is going to feel so much better than what the current stagnation of static node rarity is right now. Like, oh, cool, I found an epic node. Let me see if these clusters over here, or this cluster is like, is it all epic here? Is it just one? Like what happened? You know, like I don't like this, you know, the static thing. It's just, it's not a good thing. Let me see. Did I play Arcage? I did not. I was a World of Warcraft Andy for 17 years. Space Coconut, I recently learned someone thought my character was a bot because how well I farmed mining nodes. Crates helped me out of poverty, to be honest. Yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of people have been using crates to earn gold. A lot of people. Broke is a joke for most of it. Let me see. I chose farming and cooking. Both processes terrible for the pockets. Jesus Christ. Yeah. I did, let me see, weaving as my main process, but I also processed, what else did I process? I processed something else. I have to look at my professions. It's been a bit. Let me see. You missed out. So many system masters is trying to emulate from Arcage. Best MMO ever played. So yeah, I've talked to a lot of Arcage people, and the main qualm from Arcage was mostly how the game ended up becoming just this pay to win experience. And it's how most Korean games end up leaning. That's why when people get excited for Aeon 2 or like Lineage 3 or what is it, Arcage 2, or, you know, whatever the new thing that's coming out maybe this year or next year, I don't have faith in the Korean MMO structure because their mindset is all about monetization and how can we basically get money from our players. And I think that's how a lot of MMOs quickly die. Quickly. And it's just a plague. It's literally a plague. Let me see if only the cash shop didn't kill every fresh start eventually. Let me see. Fix animal husbandry. So I haven't even did animal husbandry. What's wrong with animal husbandry right now? That's one process I have not done. Lowered crafting material requirements. That's the next one right there. That's the one on my bingo card. Lower quantity of materials required for crafting gear and weapons. Probably tools too, right? Because some of the tool requirements for T2 and Tier 3 are ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I saw one of the Tier 3 apprentice ones took 6 slate weapon molds. Are we serious with that? 6 for a single piece? Like, what are we doing here? I feel like it doesn't even make sense. Let me see. I can't wait for everyone to be poor like us when the game releases after all the econ changes. I just hope we have some good econ changes. Like, that's what I really, really want to see. As 100 is expensive as fuck. And because mounts and bobs are not created equally, most do not maintain their value on top of broodling being busted. So how would we want mounts to work? So currently how it is that there are mounts that have like a static mount speed. Like, you have this one that's 145, this one that's 150, 155, 160, 165, 170, so on and so forth. Do you think that, like, I personally think, and let me hear what you guys think about this. And this is someone that has not done animal husbandry at all. It's just an idea that I have off the top of my head. So take that as you will. But what if all T1 mounts had the same speed stat, but then it comes and is predicated once animal husbandry completely becomes online with like how the is it bred from an original mount? Is it an offspring? Because we're supposed to actually have mounts level. They are actually will have leveling. They'll have its own talent tree. There'll actually be abilities that the mounts can learn. So I think mounts should have particular strengths. Like, have you ever seen like those little charts that have like it's like a hexagon, and you have like a point where it's like power, mentality, stamina, whatever, right? And you have like this thing where it's like it goes all the way out to the right or it goes all the way to the top. I kind of see that with the mounts, and depending on the species of mounts, like bears, well, bears can't really go that fast, but bears have a shit ton of stamina, right? And bears, have a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, a lot of HP, right? So compared to, let's say, like a wolf that doesn't have as much HP, but they're a lot faster, right? But it all is predicated off of like the talent points that you put in or whatever, right? I think the reasoning why they have it the way it is now is because we're just so early in the system, and the animal husbandry system hasn't really been fully fleshed out yet. But I'm curious as to like what people or how people want bobs and mounts to be. Because I think, let's say 140% speed is what all T1 mounts are. So when you make them, they're all 140 if you get a T1. And depending on how you level them, depending on how their points are allocated, depending on what species they are, they can end up getting faster, right? Like faster speed, more HP, better combat abilities, attack power, whatever, right? Like there's a whole plethora of things that they could do with the mount system that could actually make it a little bit more desirable, and something that isn't just like you always have to make a broodling, right? That's what everyone cares about. Just make a scorpion broodling. Like, I think there's other ways that we can do it, you know, to make it attractive across the board, kind of thing, right? That's kind of like my biggest thing. Did they make another announcement? Oh, okay, no. When is the freehold coming, or is it already available? So freeholds were there in phase 2, but they have been undergoing some surgical back end work from what Steven said. And so currently they're offline, and they'll bring them online probably at a later date. I think they'll probably bring them online once they bring apartments in. I honestly thought apartments were going to be in by now, but it looks like they're probably still working on their instancing system. So mounts are more like a companion. Yeah, mounts are supposed to be something that can actually be with you for combat. They're not going to be like a hunter pet in WoW. That's not how they are going to operate. They're going to be able to have potentially a combat ability or like a specific mount ability. Like currently right now, all you have is a sprint, right? You hit the sprint button, your mount goes faster. But there will be certain mounts that say like the bunny, where its special ability isn't a sprint, it's a double jump, right? So you can literally like double jump in the air to go somewhere. And that's the bunny's specific ability. Let's say like Graveyard Golem. So its special ability isn't a sprint, or it could have a sprint, but maybe its actual ability is something where it like hammers the ground and it stuns a person for 3 seconds, kind of thing, right? Like, so it's like those kind of things that I think the mounts are going to have. Yes, and actually Roshan accidentally posted tomorrow's message today. He did. Oh, in the NDA. Yeah, no, I saw it. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see. I really want to see what the patch notes look like. At least the early iteration of the 0.17 patch notes. Maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still working on my video that I was supposed to release this week. That video is delayed because I've just been. Me and my wife are severely lacking sleep. My 2-year-old, or my soon-to-be 2-year-old, is in a current sleep regression. My 3-month-old is going through her sleep regression. So this week has been really bad for both me and her. So it's just been really hard because every time I get on the computer, like, I'm not even joking with you, even right now, like, I'm battling to just function. Because every time that I was in the headspace to start writing out my script or getting my video together, I just didn't want to do anything. I just came to the freaking computer and I'm like, I just want to veg out. I just want to be a zombie and just do something. So it's been hard, but I feel like you know, it's just, as a parent, you have these particular hard times. I'll get past it. It'll be what it is, and you will get your Ashes content 100%. If the mounts do not have some type of durability, duration, or permadeath, there is very little incentive to have more than one, effectively removing a buyer from the market. Well, right now your mounts can die. Like, once a mount dies, you can't recall it back for 10 minutes. So having a couple of mounts in your inventory to summon another one immediately and not have to wait for that 10 minutes is pretty powerful. At least for me, in my opinion. You see the post of PTR being down. Come back tomorrow. I was laughing at the slip up. Back in the day, I had a mount ability ideas for WoW. Undead mounts could use a ghost horse spirit. Machno Striders turns into a boat on water. Rams goes up steeper mountains, etc. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of really cool things that Ashes can do for mount abilities. I think there's a shit ton they can do. I just think it's, you know, they just need time. That's literally it. They literally need time to flesh out this game more. And that's why I get really nervous when they talk about marketing and talk about like, you know, appealing to a wider audience, you know what I mean? Which, you know, I want Ashes, you know, to succeed. I want them to get as many players playing this game. But I think in the state it's in right now, and I also feel like the state it will be during the Harbingers update. I don't know if it's in a particular state to market to. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I feel like the people that already are here are here. The people that aren't here, I think to drag them over here would be a bad idea. And it would just cause more unnecessary bad press for the sake of marketing. And I don't know. All this extra stuff over the last few years have shifted my mind, and now I want to be a game writer. I have 3 games lined up in daily. I'm always so pumped to get into making the games. One day, one is an MMO, but obviously will not even be concept yet. Well, man, I'm grateful for you, Cyber. I mean, that's great. I mean, I've always had this idea of a game, and I've asked AI, like how hard would this be to make? Because I don't want to make an MMO. I want to make a Mega Man game, but hear me out. I want to make a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time like Mega Man game, where it's a complete open world, and instead of you choosing the boss, all of the areas like are on the map. So if there's like 9 biomes, each biome is like where a boss would be, and there's like a free roam area, kind of like Hyrule Fields. And there's like, of course, like you can get your helmet upgrade, your blaster upgrade, your this upgrade, but it's all in the open world. Like, and I just think of how awesome that would be, like in a 3D environment to play a Mega Man game, where there's like a bunch of jumping puzzles, a bunch of monsters and stuff like that. That's always been just like, cause I've Mega Man to me was like, I loved Mega Man as a kid. That was like my fucking game. I played Mega Man X to hell and back. I played Mega Man X2, but I also played Mega Man 1 through 8 on NES. Like I played the crap out of Mega Man. So Mega Man Legends, I have not played Mega Man Legends. I after Super Nintendo, I kind of just got into other games, but Mega Man has just always had a very special place in my heart as just like a very cool concept. It's a Souls-like Mega Man. Oh, okay. Well, interesting. But that's kind of like the game I always thought of in my head. It was like, how cool would it be to make like a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time kind of game, but have like Mega Man be the main character, and it being a 3D kind of stylized world, I don't know. I just thought that'd be really, really dope. I would play it if it was in the Battle Network universe. See, and I've seen the PlayStation stuff of like the BattleNet universe. I just don't like what Mega Man's become now. I kind of want to take it back to like the old school roots of like Mega Man X. Like, I think that'd be really sick. Let me see. They want more casual input on their systems. Why is everyone so afraid of this? Well, I feel like people are already the casuals are already here, Vale, at least in my opinion. I don't think anybody's afraid of people leaving their opinions, but I think the people they've already captured in phase 1 keys, phase 2 keys, and phase 3 keys, like those are the people that want to be here. Now, the biggest thing we were talking about earlier, right, is the lower price point. So what if there are people that are like, like I kind of want to go and test Ashes, but $100, that's a little bit too much for a test. But if they lower to 50, maybe those players come over and want to test for a couple of hours. Like, I don't know, right? Like, so I think that's sort of like what Intrepid might end up doing. is like, hey, we're announcing, I don't think it'd be like a phase 4 key, but I think so let me ask this question. Anyone here is a phase 3 key buyer? If you're a phase 3 key buyer, let me know. If you are a phase 3 key buyer that paid $100 to pay phase to play Ashes of Creation or to test it, would you be upset that you could have waited a couple of more months and paid $50 instead? I feel like that's kind of like what's happening right now. Phase 3 initially was supposed to be May 1st of this year, right? That got delayed, but they ended up letting all the phase 3 people in anyway to play phase 2 on May 1st. So they've had their time to play, right? But I'm just curious if, you know, would those players be upset? I think, let me see if they've lowered the access to 3 times already. Yeah, they lowered it for, let me see, it was 120, then it was 110, then it was 100. And then before that, it was the pre-order packs, which the pre-order packs, I think the lowest one was like, what, 150? Or was it 250? I think it was 250 actually with Alpha 2 access. I could be wrong. But that's like saying you bought Nintendo and like 3 months later it came on sale. I mean, true. It's true. That's why I was just asking the question. I mean, would you be upset? Because it always sucks, right? When you go to the store and you buy something full price and then you come back like a week later and it's on sale. You're like, what the fuck? I just bought it like for X amount and now it's like lower, you know? So I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. I mean, me personally, like, I think the people that want to test Ashes like have done it, but I feel like the lower and lower the price becomes, I don't know. I'm not saying that feedback is like useless at that point, but I think the feedback that has already been given by a lot of the players, I've seen so much feedback from the forums, from Reddit, from just being on Discord. Like, there's a lot of casual feedback that has been left forever, in my opinion. I don't know what a more casual audience is going to say that hasn't already been said. Like, we already talked about reward structure. The reward structure sucks, right? That's already been said. The Fatui, the first time user experience, sucks. It's already been said. Maybe there's like more very niche or specific things that maybe haven't been said, but I don't know. Like, a lot of people have been testing Ashes for quite some time. I don't know what brand new feedback they can get that has never been said by this community, that a casual can come in and be like, oh, well, this clearly needs to be reworked, or, you know, this system over here needs to be looked at, or whatever. Like, I think there's so many people in this community that are very passionate about a lot of its systems and have literally left articles about said systems. Like, there's been people who left a bunch of feedback on just the treasure map system, on just specific professions in general, like on, you know, the Discord, on forums. So I just don't know what stone a casual can turn over that no one in the community has heard of. I don't know. Could it happen? Possibly. I'm not saying it can't, but I don't know. I don't play Ashes. I'm waiting for it to have a baked a little more. Also, my PC wouldn't be able to run Ashes at the moment. Yeah, right now that's the other problem too. Is the entire Unreal Engine crash that players have been experiencing since phase 3, myself included. To test a game that basically shuts down your computer every hour or every 2 hours, every 3 hours. It just depends. Everyone's thing is different. That's also just hasn't worked for many people, hasn't been fixed. Mine actually, for some reason, I haven't crashed, but then I'm thinking, did I play for an hour? Like, I don't know. 'Cause sometimes like I don't really time like how long my play session is. Like, sometimes I feel like I just play a little bit and I leave. So I don't really know. Yeah, performance overall hasn't been great at all. Yeah, I feel like phase 2's performance was the best. Phase 2 had some super solid performance. If you go look at my streams in phase 2, like, I hardly ever hard glitched or screen tore or anything like that. Like, it was awesome. But now it's just been like, even going into town, dude, like, going into town is such sludge. Like, if I go into Jova, it just it feels like I'm like it's so hard to get through. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's kind of bad. I've been writing a dissertation on cooking, but I don't want to harp on how broken it still is because I understand they are tackling the big items. Not everything that affects me is considered priority. Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's what a lot of people, you know, have that expectation, right? Like, is like the very niche thing of like, let's say treasure maps, right? I think treasure maps need to be looked at from a novice perspective. I think the way it currently works for novice should not work that way. I think that how it worked in T or phase 2, that's how it should work for T1 novice treasure maps. But then like as you progress, so there should be like a tier 1 Riverlands treasure map. There should be a tier 2 Riverlands treasure map. And as you go through each tier, the materials required, the things necessary to make or to create that map gets more stringent and more stringent, right? But I think to craft a T1 map shouldn't be that much. I think honestly the way it was before in phase 2 was fine. It was literally fine. I think the way it works currently is how I think apprentice a treasure map should be. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's where I feel like it's kind of lost a little bit. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go real quick to the bathroom real fast. I'm gonna play some music. It's like All right, chat. Sorry about that. Had to use the bathroom. Whew. And then my wife fell asleep with the baby in her arms. So I had to get the baby into the crib. And then I was like, babe, you're sleeping. It's like, what the is? We're both so tired. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, so let me kind of go back a little bit to see what people, I'm saying my mindset when it comes to events like treasure mapping is, why do we not get a little bit of the stuff we need to make more maps? Maybe very rarely allow me to find a full one on any rarity. I enjoy treasure maps, but the kits and getting all the stuff for the map, plus even finding one of the broken maps isn't viable enough for me to want to keep doing them. Yeah, completely agree with you. I think the whole treasure map, I would love if treasure maps gave you experience. Like if a person actually wanted to like semi-level using treasure maps, like why? Like why can't you? Like if you go through the trouble of right-clicking one, going to the area, finding the thing, you know, why not get experience for it? You know what I mean? I'm not saying it should be like, you know, super crazy, but it shouldn't be like menial either. You know what I mean? Like it should be almost kind of like where, like, I don't know, like a batch of like 40 from processing would be, you know, maybe like an experience bump like that, something like that. But I think the way like I said, treasure maps right now are, it takes way too many components to make a simple one. And I think there needs to be degrees of treasure maps, you know, like that's my thing. It needs to literally be, you know, like degrees of it. Like, so tier 1 maps are very easy, super craftable to make. Tier 2, and then tier 2 apprentice maps are a little bit more hard. Like they have like an extra component added that you need, like let's say the monocle. So, and then journeyman, you need like the monocle plus, you know, like a broken sands of time, like, you know, or something like that, right? Like, so each tier provides an extra step needed to create like either the extraction kit part or the actual treasure map itself, right? But I think novice treasure map should actually be the way it worked in phase 2. Like seriously, like super phase 2 maps was awesome. I used to do maps all the fucking time. I loved it. There's many streams where I would be here playing Ashes, hunting treasure maps, doing them on stream while talking to you guys. It was a lot of fun. Doesn't it give you XP scrolls? Yeah, treasure maps can actually give you XP scrolls, but I'm talking like whenever you find the treasure chest and you right click on it and you get rewards from it, you should get like an actual, you know, character adventuring experience from it. Like I just don't see why not. Sometimes it is a long ass walker ride. Yeah, no, for real. Like some treasure maps, man, they're tough, dude. Like I remember when I was on one for almost like 45 minutes to an hour. And one of my buddies, like in my guild, was on it for 2 hours. And a couple of us came to go and help him try to find it or whatever. And we ended up finding it. But yeah, that's the whole component to it, right? It's an Easter egg hunt, you know? So those should actually feel like satisfying to do, you know, to an extent. Roar. Always good to hear from you, buddy. So let's figure out what else I want from this bingo card. So lower quantity of materials required for crafting gear. Definitely want that. Processing fees I want lowered. The fixed color variety. What else do I want economic wise? This is something that I don't hear many people talk about. For me, it doesn't make sense. Do you know how like whenever you're processing and it requires 2 bluebell threads and a raw bluebell? Why? Why doesn't it just cost 3 bluebell thread? Like, why do I need in the middle of my processing to go up to the next tier? I need 2 of these other things plus a raw one. Why can't, like, what is it? Like, so there's bluebell thread and the next one up, I forgot what that one's called. It's like bluebell bolt. Why doesn't it require just 2 bluebell thread or 3 bluebell thread instead of the 2 bluebell thread and 1 raw bluebell? Like that, I know that's a very, may not affect you, or you may be like, Vlad, like that's not a big deal. To me, it's annoying. It's just annoying. Like because then you always have to have the raw version, and you have to have like, I would rather just keep processing up. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's like a personal thing for me. So let's put that into perspective. So how would I put that? When processing upwards, I don't know. Like it's a thing that always bothered me. One of my guildies, it really bothered him. But as I kept, weaving and stuff like that, I found it to be like annoying. Like it's literally an annoyance as someone who processes where it's like, oh, I need to get another raw like version of the thread. The other thing that I would really love, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to do this, is fuel being pulled from storage. Bro, the amount of times I had to run back to my storage because I had all the components required, but I forgot the fucking fuel is annoying. I don't care if they like jerry rig it to where they add an extra tab at your storage and that tab is only meant for fuel. So that way, when it pulls from your storage, it's only going to pull from that one specific tab. I don't care. But it's just, there's already so many annoying small little friction points to where you think of the vendor reagent. Did I buy those? Did I buy the correct amount? And then the fuel, right? Like, oh, did I get the fuel? Did I pull that from my storage? Like that, like when you're going to your table, it's just, you want stuff to feel easy. You want stuff to feel kind of accessible, And I feel like right now you need to do like this laundry checklist of these stupid little menial steps. And I just hate it. The other thing too is the UI. I don't think the UI is going to be fixed at all, but man, I can't wait for them to have like another updated version of the UI. Luke Fred, dude, thank you so much for the $5, brother. Thank you. Here, let me see. Why not just let us use resources from storage in general? It's in the same town. Why make extra busy work? Keep up the good work, dude. Thank you, man. I completely agree with you. Like, I would rather work out of my storage than having to have everything on my person. Like I'm not saying if I'm in the town where the table is at, I'm talking about that settlement's specific storage. I don't care. Like, I'm not asking it to pull from like Winstead when I'm in Jova. If I'm in Jova, the stuff I have in Jova, if I have all my Bluebell rarities, all that stuff, like I'd rather it just pull in general from my bags and storage. Because again, you just think of like the ease of access, right? Like, I think that's more of a future one. I'll put it on there anyway, because I think materials in general should be pulled from storage at the node you're processing or crafting from. Like that would just be a huge quality of life that I don't think if they were to make that change, people would be like upset about that. You know what I'm saying? I think people would be like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. Let me see. Yeah, that town specifically. Yes, completely agree. What would I like for fuel is to not be tied to that specific round of processing. Let me put in whatever fuel I have to be the station, not the process good. I'm going to have a hot take. I think fuel should be provided from the node. That's my hot take. I think if you are a citizen, you can contribute to the node's fuel, right? And you should get like maybe like certain rewards for like contributing, like let's say oak as an example. If you want to go and give the node 200 oak, do it. But that way the fuel basically would come from the node itself, or the settlement, quote unquote. And I don't have to worry about fuel at all. As long as the node has fuel, like we're good. And if the node doesn't have fuel, then provide certain incentive structures to go and do that or whatever. But I don't know. That's kind of like my hot take. I think again, like there should be certain things that should be kind of like provided for you, like as a citizen of a node. And currently there's just not many things provided for you. Like you yourself have to provide everything. What would I like for fuels to not be tied to, oh, I already said that. Sorry. Please no. Oracle. Hey, that's my idea. Like I think it'd be fine if they did that. They want your bag size to matter for processing, because large orders, you literally run out of space for fuel. That's a charcoal is a 1-to-1. Yeah, no, for sure. I think right now that's the other thing too. I want So in your storage, there's your general storage, right? Which most people actually, I would say 100% of everyone uses. But then you actually have other versions of storage. You have a mining storage, you have a lumberjacking storage, you have herbaling storage, you have a hunting storage. No one uses those. Why? Because they suck. It literally gives you like a fraction of the overall storage, but it gives you, I think, an extra stack. So instead of it stacking to 20, it stacks to 43, but it kind of doesn't matter because you have this much storage space to play with. Like, I personally think you need to fix that. You need to make those specific niche tabs to have purpose, because right now they have zero purpose and function. There's no reason for anyone to ever get that, because the general storage, it's just better. It's better overall. So fixing the niche storage tabs for gathering professions. I think the other one too. How do we feel for bags? To craft a bag, I mean, just simple yeses and nos in chat. Is it easy to craft an apprentice bag? Whatever apprentice bag, lumberjacking, mining, herbing, hunting, whatever. Do you think the way the materials required to make a bag, do you think they should stay the same? Do you think they should be hired, lowered? Like, what's y'all's take on bags currently? I've never once crafted a bag. I don't even know where to go for it. So you'd either need to go to like a tailor if you want to make, let's say, like well, tailors can make bags. I think baskets can be made by carpenters, and I think there's I don't know if arcane engineering can make a bag either. I think there's 2 or 3 particular crafting professions that can make a bag. But yeah, right now, currently, here, let me go here real quick. Let's go to Ash's Codex. Apprentice herbing bag. So right now, to do an apprentice herbalism bag, it requires 20 bluebell bolts and 1 bluebell thread. And this is what you get from the novice, which novice literally is just 4. So you get 2 extra ones. So I personally think this is way too much. I'm low 50 mining and still have the initiative enter bags. Yeah, I think that this is not the way, personally. Personally, I don't like the fact that bags are even on a vendor. I think even the novice bags, I think everybody should start off with like just your regular Sanctus bag. There's a quest you can do that's very easy to do where you can earn another bag. But I think you should be able to like make the novice bags. That's just, you know, my thing, right? Like, I want everything to kind of be player created. I personally think that the requirements here is way too freaking much. I think we're looking at, I think it should go from like 20 to like 3. Personally. Maybe 5. Like 5 bluebell bolts and 1 bluebell thread for 1 bag. Like, this is just way too much. Like, we're literally talking about a level 10 bag. That's literally what we're talking about. Like, and this is what I don't understand from the level of gatekeeping that the Ashes community has, is they want every single thing to be so hard. Like, and people say like, oh, it's not hard at all to make an apprentice bag. What are you talking about? It's even more ridiculous to make an apprentice bag. or to make a journeyman bag. So let's talk about that. Like, so journeyman herbalism bag. It's the same thing. It's basically the same equivalent, right? So you have 20 dried braidwood board and then one. Wait, is that? I don't think that's the bag. Journeyman. Here we go. So 20 wool bolt, one wool thread. Yeah, that's way too much. That's way too much. This might be too much to ask, but I would like to drop off mats for people in my family onto their storage, or assign the mats in my storage for that specific person to pick up. Yeah, I think a COD would actually be really nice for ashes. So like, think of this. You go and leave materials at the mailbox, and it's a COD for a person. So that person then has to travel to that node's mailbox to then pick it up. And the only way they can pick it up, like if you have like a gold requirement, right, that gets paid, then you pay it, the gold is left at the mailbox, so then you go back to your mailbox and then you get the gold. Like, I think that would actually work out, in my opinion, pretty well. Because sometimes you can't, like you can't be online all the time, right? So if like I am building something, like let's say I had, like as an example, I have a person that, you know, needed 5 bluebell bolts processed. And they're like, well, I'm gonna log out. Here's the mats. When you're done with them, just give them to me whenever. So then what I can do is just make them whenever they're done, go to the mailbox, put them in there, do a COD of like, you know, hey, I finished them. It'll be like 3 gold. And if they go over there and they pay it, they get the bluebell bolt, and then I go back to the mailbox and I get my 3 gold. If they don't pay the 3 gold, then it just expires over 24 hours and then it just goes back to me. Like, I think something like that is like very simple, like in my opinion. Like, I don't think that would be, I don't know how hard that would be to code, but in my mind, I don't think it'd be hard. I mean, 3 braidwood is 1 board. Yeah, like, well, to make a bolt of anything is kind of crazy. Like, and depending on how high you're gonna go, it gets more and more ridiculous, right? Once you go through the tiers. So I think, you know, there should be like this kind of progression, right? So like, as an example, like if you were to go from 20 at apprentice to 5, so for novice, let's say you want to make a bag, it's like pretty affordable, right? It's like, of course, the most affordable bag to make. But then when you go to apprentice, it requires like 5 bluebell bolts and 1 thread. And then when you go to journeyman, it requires 10 bluebell, or 10 of the equivalent, and 1 thread or whatever, right? And it just, as you go up, it just gets more and more. But I just feel like this already at the cuff is kind of a lot. And there's already so much other things, like gear wise and everything, that you would want to make too, that I think this is just the way it currently is. It's too much of an investment for a single item, in my mind. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's way too much. Let me see. What's worse is when you look at it in the crafting calculator, it's just the cost of reagents and processing fees is disgusting. This is one area I do have a complaint on the bags. Yeah, for sure. No, I'm not even talking about the material costs for a Jimmer bag. You spend about 7 gold in fees and reagents. Carpenter is like 42 G for fees and reagents, and a tailor is like 121. Yeah. Well, and I've already, you know, I've been making a thing, right? It's kind of like a bingo card that I kind of want them to do of what I want them to fix. And I basically said the processing fees across the board and vendor reagents need to be lowered, because it's way too high. You need people to be able to earn money at novice and at apprentice, so it can be sunk in the later tiers. If you can't earn money at the first fucking tier, then how do you expect people to buy shit? That's how RMT and botting becomes so out of control, because it's just easier to go that route. And you don't want that to be the case. You want, again, novice should be very introductory. It should be something that is ease of access for people for someone that probably has no idea of how to do processing or crafting or gathering, or maybe it's not their kind of game loop, but then they come into Ashes and they're like, oh wow, this is actually a lot of fun, and it actually makes me some money too. Like, oh wow, they're going to want to do it more, they're incentivized to do it more. But then as they realize when they go to apprentice and then a journeyman, it's like, oh wow, it gets more and more expensive, right? But they're already invested at that point, so it doesn't feel as bad. You're not really invested into a system you're really doing for 2 minutes, and as soon as you start learning, oh shit, at novice, it's going to cost me like a golden sum to process these 80 things that I have. No, I'm good. I'm just going to do something else. And now you just lost that person. So I don't want that to be the case. Like, I don't want people to get turned off right off rip. I'd want group 1 and group 2 together. They're pretty much the same thing. Group 1 and group 2 together. Damn, dude, what's going on, brother? Let me see, 60 braidwood for 1 bag. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is, and again, like, that's the other thing too. That's the problem you start going into with apprentice and journeyman, is that now it's requiring the rare material that you need, like bluebell, weeping willow. And guess what? You also need those same things for crates. You need those same things for caravans. You need those same things for all the apprentice gear you're going to make. You know, potentially, you know, bows or whatever the case, mind you. And I think the other thing too, I'm just going to say this, apprentice and journeyman gatherables are too rare. Like, they're honestly, like, I've literally tried to go and find weeping willow for hours. Could not find one. Could not find one. And people could say, oh, it's because of how like saturated and how densely it is, you know, yada, 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 yada. I don't think a tier 2 material should be fucking rarely astronomical to find. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, we're not talking about grandmaster shit. We're literally talking about the second tier up from tier 1. Why should it feel like these particular materials are just so hard to fucking find? It makes no sense. Like, I don't get that. They, you know, like bluebells, moonbells, I think have a pretty good, I mean, I think they're still a little rare, but trees as an example, braidwood, and well, I don't know if it's because they have fixed spawn points at this point, and you have people that literally have those things on timers. I think the variance of those timers needs to be greatly reduced, but they also need to have the spawn points in different spots. Like, I remember Steven saying that like way back when, like, I think during the original showcase when they were chopping trees and he was mining nodes and doing the bluebell, he literally said that, you know, when you have something spawn in the same exact spot and it creates these like patterns for like botters to do, that's literally how it is right now. So we need to have like the spawn point like shift and move like somewhere else. That it's like, hey, let's say, you know, Intrepid creates 1,000 spawn points in the Riverlands alone for Weeping Willow. So that way it's like, okay, it spawned here. Now this particular spot is on like a 24-hour cooldown. So the Weeping Willow cannot spawn here anymore because it spawned here once already, you know? And now it's like, it has to spawn in these other spots, right? So you won't be able to literally like figure out, but I'm pretty sure someone probably will. But if they create so many different spawn points, it just litter a whole fucking map up. And it's like, you might as well just go out and look, you know, at that point. I honestly miss phase 2.5 now. A lot of people, I feel like phase 3 just wasn't the kind of thing that we were kind of going to get into personally. T2 and T3 images are less in the recipes and now they're less in the world. I don't think it's saturated at all. Tier 2 and Tier 3, yes, they're less that's required. But there's definitely less in the world. But I can guarantee you, if you want to make 2 bags, you need 120 bluebells. I think raw bluebells to process them and to make the 20 bolts that needed to make 2 different bags. it's going to take you a while to literally gather 120 of whatever kind of rarity you get from bluebells. That's kind of ridiculous. So again, we're talking about tier 2 materials here. We're not talking about Grandmaster. We're talking about literally apprentice materials. I just don't think they should be that rare. Yeah, bags is different. I feel like they didn't get thought of. Same with the crafting gear. Well, yeah, artisan gear is kind of weird too, because I don't like the fact that artisan gear has like combat stats on it. And I'll say that too, like combat stats on artisan gear need to be removed. Like anything that is involving artisan should be entirely artisan. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have your gear that you get from like civilian or, you know, whatever bow you're going to get, like you don't have like artisan stuff on your gear, right? Like when you make a bow, you don't have, you know, increase to lumberjacking spoils on it for some reason. Like it's just not there because it shouldn't be there. It's combat gear. So if you're going into apprentice or if you're going to like profession stuff, it should just have profession stats. I don't think that's like a hard thing to ask. Yuck, horror take on that one. Are you serious, Pockets? I don't think that's a bad take at all. They could also make bags increase how much something holds to instead of more space. Well, I think again, like the rarity part of it should influence how much stacks you should be able to get into it. And I think that's how it currently works now, but I don't think the variance is very low. Meaning like if you get like an uncommon novice bag, I think it has like what is it? 42 or 44 or something like that. I think it only goes up by 2 each time. I don't know. I think it should be a little bit more than that personally. Maybe by 5 or something like that. 5 or 10. I mean, depending on the rarity increase. It's a single stat on the gear. It gives a benefit to your artisan, to your character, but it's not to you to min max. It's a minor touch, but I would rather have that minor touch influence my profession stats. I already have those other touches to my profession or to my actual combat gear itself. I don't need the mixture of combat and artisan together in my artisan gear. It doesn't need to be there. Even in food, there's like combat stats in like food. It increases your spoils, but it also increases like your, like, it's like, why is that the case? Like, I just don't think you need to mix them. You see, you two need to have a 1v1 on stream. I mean, again, like, I mean, believe me and Pockets, we agree on a lot, but we also disagree on a lot. There's a lot of things that he sees the game completely different. I see the game completely different. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to convince him to change his mind. I don't think he's trying to convince me to change my mind. I think, you know, a lot of it's just agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Most of the time for MMO players, and this is, I think I talked about this last week as well, is that people try to change the mind of the person they're talking to. I think that's a useless waste of your time. Everybody that has a particular opinion, I should say, that's what the opinion they're going to have. Or rarely people ever change their mind based off of someone else's opinion. Rarely. So, you know, we'll see. Let me see. Not at all. It's all right for you to be wrong. Yes, Pockets. Okay. There becomes a min-max FOMO where you'll be able to incentivize to be a particular artisan for stats. Well, and that's what I mean, right? Like you'll have people that want to go, oh, I have to go lumberjack because lumberjack has like the most amount of potential, you know, power increase. You know what I mean? And maybe that's a problem for all of like the min-maxers out there, but I just don't think you need to even create that problem. Like seriously, I don't think you need to create that problem at all. And I think if you want to add combat stats to artisan gear, let us do it. What I mean by that is, you know, maybe there would be a specific enchanting that I can put on artisan gear myself. Or maybe you just create a gym slot. Just right now, wherever you see an artisan stat or a combat stat on it, have it be an empty gym slot. And you can slot it either with an artisan stat or a combat stat. It'll be your choice as the player. I would rather prefer that personally, because that way it'll at least give agency to the player and what and how they want to. So if a person is very combat minded, they can go and put gems that give them combat stats instead. If they don't care about the combat side of things and they want to go sheerly on artisan stuff, then they can do that too. You know, like if it's menial, right? If it's just flavor and it's not going to break anything, like let's say overall it's just like a 1% increase, like power increase. If they mid max it totally on one side, then let us choose. I don't like the fact that the game's choosing for me. I think that's the biggest takeaway from it. OG Tactic Dude, what's going on, brother? I agree with you on that. It doesn't belong there. Yeah, I personally don't like combat stats on artisan gear at all. Like I don't. I would rather just have more of my profession stats. But again, the more I think about it, if people want that choice of you do what you want to do, then that's what I would do. I know right now they are going to have a gem system, right? So create certain gems that have like, you know, artisan stat increases and combat stat increases. And depending on the gem that you put into your artisan gear, it's your choice. That could be really cool. Guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get off. My throat is really hurting me, like really bad. It's like, I feel like I'm getting like strep throat or something. I just want to appreciate all you guys coming in, hanging out with me. It's been awesome. Tomorrow, like I said, stay tuned for tomorrow, guys, because depending on how these patch notes are, I might put out a video and to hopefully talk about some really good changes that they potentially could make. If they remove static mode rarity tomorrow and it actually works, oh my god, that'll be amazing. Like that alone, I think would be a huge, I think it would just make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the biggest thing. It would make me happy. Would it fix phase 3? Absolutely not. It would not fix phase 3, but it would definitely make it a hell of a lot better than what it currently is now. But, you know, again, I think out of all these changes, and like now that I'm looking at it, like the more I think about it, I think this right here is the bane of my existence. Even more so than this. I wouldn't mind the way the materials are, even though as abysmal and as inflated as it is. This is what really fucking kills me. It's the processing is just so fucking expensive, man. It's so expensive. So if they can actually make it more in line to not break your bank, that would just be so cool. Guys, thank you all so much. Thank you for hanging out with me this Friday night. I really, really appreciate it. If you guys are watching me on YouTube, of course, please hit that subscribe button. It'll keep you up to date anytime I make a video about Ashes of Creation or when I go live on Fridays at 7:30. If you're watching me on Twitch, thank you guys from Raid Out, Don't Just End. Well, who's excuse me. Who's in the Ashes space? Fuck. Let's see, Ashes of Creation. Tasma. Okay. Spanish creator just started. Okay. I'll rate him. All right, guys, thank you all so much. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.